Tonight on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, we have Week 13 preview. It's time for Garbage Time. I always forget what week we're in.
Yeah, me too.
Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. I am your host, Ron the Fantasy Spectre Seymour. Joined today by Ryan, doesn't have a cool nickname, Warner.
It's true. I was just about to say I'm a little jealous. You got an alias.
All right. Like I said at the top, we're going to do the Week 13 preview show, and we're going to kind of tear through it relatively quickly. There's a game on. It is Ryan's Patriots, but we were the only two that could cover today, so he's got to do it. He's contractually obligated.
It's true. It's true. Need to form a union. That way I can start to get my team's games off. I think that should be written in there.
All right. If you like what you hear, make sure you follow us right here on YouTube, subscribe, like, go over to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review. We're on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. If you go to our website, which is shown right there on the screen, www.garbagetimeff.com, you can see everywhere we're available, like Twitch and Twitter. You can also leave us voicemails and hate mails over at that website also. Remember, we are doing a contest for this signed Miles Sanders card. If you'd want to win that, what you have to do is go over to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review, then like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and comment under one of the videos that you are part of the heckling fandom. And with all that being said, let's get into some news.
News updates.
All right, let's go ahead and start right with the title of the show. Will Joe Mixon, Aaron Rodgers, or Najee Harris play this weekend?
So I watched the Pat McAfee show. And Aaron Rodgers on there said that he is planning to play, that he is a go. Najee did not practice today, so that's not a great sign. And then Mixon as well as JaMarr Chase were both limited in practice today. I guess the nice thing is with Mixon is if you have Perrine as a handcuff, you can plug him in, no problem. But really with Najee, if Najee's out, like, you're not handcuffing him with Jalen Warren or Snell, you know what I mean?
Yeah, not the first week, I don't think. The fact that Mixon practice makes me feel like he's going to play. He went out with a concussion, so if they're letting him practice, I'm going to assume that he's probably going to be cleared to play.
If he gets a full one on Friday, then you can plan on starting Mixon, I think.
Yeah.
And if not, hopefully you have the ultimate handcuff this season currently and can plug it right in.
All right, some other news we're going to blast through. Josh Jacobs' calf remained limited for Thursday practice. This was back-to-back limited things. Will probably be limited again tomorrow. But I think he plays.
Same.
Good matchup against the Chargers.
I mean, the guy just rushed for 260-something yards.
Yeah, way too many.
It's expected. I think that they would rest him a little bit.
Christian McCaffrey came out and says he dodged a bullet with his knee issue and expects a full workload in Week 13. So there you go.
Yeah, that is a good thing for Christian McCaffrey owners. It's like you're always waiting for that shoe to drop. That's like, oh, he's out for the season now. So yeah, good news for them. He was limited in practice again today, but just monitor it. But based on what he's saying, it should be good to go.
But they did get bad news. Deebo Samuel quad did not practice Thursday. I I don't know. They might set him.
Yeah, so definitely monitor that as well.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
They're a 1:00 game, right? Or are they a later? They might be a later one.
They are the later game.
Yeah, so maybe stick them in that flat spot or hopefully you'll get the designation a little bit early.
Hopefully you'll know early enough. All right, what else do we got? We talked about Aaron Rodgers. We talked about Joe Mixon. That's going to make a lot of noise. Mute that.
People probably might just know this, but Justin Fields did log a full practice today.
Yeah,
so that is a good sign. Looks like we will have an Aaron Rodgers Justin Fields showdown in Chicago.
Yeah, that seems like what it'll be. It's going to be a hard game for Chicago. He has no weapons, really, no defense at all.
Yeah, I picked Green Bay, but
AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones both limited on Thursday. I think they both play.
Mm-hmm.
Dobbs was limited.
Antonio Gibson, that injury came out. It was either today or yesterday. Did not practice today.
I didn't see
so if he is out, that looks like it could be a good week for Brian Robinson.
Yeah. If Antonio Gibson's not there, definitely. I think that's probably all the big news.
That's the most of what I'm seeing. ETN they're expecting to play.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the news. Yeah, we're good. Let's get into it.
All right, we're getting into it. So long.
But so good.
Yes. All right. We are going to hop right into our game previews for the weeks. And the first game I got here is the Steelers at Falcons.
Yeah, so like we already mentioned, the Najee injury. Didn't practice today. So definitely monitor that. And like both of us said, if Najee is out, there's no interest in the running back room.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean, maybe if you're really desperate, I think Jalen Warren, but
yeah,
you have to be pretty desperate.
Yeah, that you're looking rough if that's Pat Freiermuth, I think is still a fine start at tight end.
And I do believe that George Pickens is also a decent flex start.
Probably
Hopefully he gets the touchdown.
Boom bust if you get that touchdown, you know. And that's all I have for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, both of these teams really don't have a lot. With the Falcons, it's pretty much just probably Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, and then Mariota and Superflex probably.
Maybe, yeah, most likely. And then maybe a shot on Drake London if you're hurting.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Strong maybe.
I got Atlanta. Put your picks in. You got Atlanta? Yeah, that's what I picked too.
Yeah.
Joe and JJ both have Steelers.
Interesting.
So that'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Packers Bears. For the Packers, you could start pretty much everybody that's playing. The Bears defense is bad everywhere. And it could be a really good game for the Packers.
Yeah, so I think Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon's coming off a big week too. Do you think he stays involved?
I mean, there's a chance that the Packers could have a pretty big lead in this game into the fourth quarter, and he might get a lot of work at the end.
Some garbage time?
Yeah, some garbage. I like what you did there. I don't know. He just worries me. You know what I mean? Because this is the only good week he's had pretty much all year.
Yeah, so I'll say I think Rodgers, Christian Watson, Aaron Jones probably start confidently.
Yeah, and then you take a shot on AJ Dillon.
Tunein at all?
Tunein, you could take a shot on if you're desperate. He's got high touchdown upside. And Romeo Dobbs, if he's back. I mean, I don't know how much he'll be involved now that Christian Watson's kind of took over, but
yep,
he definitely was involved in that offense at first. And then on the Bears side, it's literally Justin Fields and David Montgomery.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I had too. Cole Kmet was we talked about him on waivers quite a bit, but he's kind of dudded it out the last 2 weeks. Are you off on him, giving him another week to see? They just lost Darnell Mooney.
It just worries me because he's now the number one on the team.
That's true.
I mean, really. And I mean, the Packers might work on just taking him away and seeing if Justin Fields could do anything else with some of these younger wide receivers and people that weren't as integrated into the offense.
Yeah, and I'm not, even with Mooney out, I'm really not seeing Claypool getting a significant amount to justify a fantasy start. Really, and Justin Fields, the only reason is because of the rushing.
Right.
I mean, you need him to rush for 100 yards probably.
Probably. I mean, he'll probably, because of his rushing, even if he can get 170 yards to the air, touchdown, and then 80 yards rushing to touchdown, it's a damn good fantasy week.
Yeah. It's just, you don't know where those 170 yards are going to go. Probably be very spread out. And it's going to be too tough to predict who gets it. I mean, you might see one guy have a huge game, but we're not going to know who.
Yeah, exactly. I picked the Packers. Joe picked the Packers. You picked. And JJ picked the Bears, of course, because he's a Bears fan.
Naturally.
And I'm not saying the Bears can't win this game. They definitely could.
If this was like the 1 year that Chicago could beat the Bears, that Chicago could beat the Packers, it would be this year.
Chicago probably will beat the Bears. Let's be real.
They do every week, so.
Yeah. All right, next game, Jags at Lions.
Oof.
This could be a sneaky good game for the week.
If it's on my TV, if it's not available on my TV, I'll probably watch it. With Jacksonville against not a good defense, I'm saying start ETN. Trevor Lawrence is probably a viable start. Christian Kirk, probably even look at Zay Jones, who's put together some decent weeks.
And then, honestly, even on the other side of the ball, because it's not like the Jaguars have a very good defense. So, Jared Goff, DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
You still starting DeAndre Swift?
Yeah, I think I would. Like, the
upside, are you saying RB2?
RB2. The upside is just too much there.
And that's the thing, because one of these weeks he's finally going to be back or completely healthy. And it's like, if he's sitting on your bench the week that happens, you're going to be so pissed at yourself.
Especially when you're getting this close to playoff time. If you lose because you sat DeAndre Swift, who was most likely at least a second-round pick.
Right.
You're going to feel real bad about yourself. And Jamal Williams is a definite start also. He gets the goal line work.
Yeah, and I saw something crazy where, they ranked the points of, the top, the top, I don't know, 20 or 25 NFL players with the most points. All of them were kickers except Jamal Williams. I
think he's got the most touchdowns in the league.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, sneaky draft pick for anyone that snagged him as a handcuff or picked him up in free agency. So, it's paying off. I got Jacksonville.
You got Jacksonville. JJ has Jacksonville. Me and Joe picked the Lions.
All right.
I like it. I like that we've got a lot of discrepancy already.
I like the Lions, though. They're scrappy. They're in almost every game.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, next one, Jets at Vikings.
Yeah. So for the Vikings, you're starting Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson.
Let's talk about TJ Hawkinson for a second. He's an every week start now, right?
Yeah. He's
come right in and just is a major part of this offense. It's great,
which I love because everyone knows big Hawkinson guy. And he was kind of having a down year with the Lions, and then he gets traded, and immediately, first week, huge impact. So he's probably a top 5 tight ends start at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Do we like?
Real nice to have him in Dynasty.
Yeah. Do we like Adam Thielen? Had a big week.
Yeah, he's definitely, I mean, he's got to be put in there in the flex. The only problem is this Jets defense. What I like about this is we'll know now what this Jets defense actually is, because like the last couple games they've had have not been against like great QBs.
And it's teams that usually only have one guy, like one wide receiver.
Right.
Now
So this will be good to see how they do against a very powered offense.
Yeah. So that would be a good game. On the Jets side, it sounds like Mike White is getting the start again.
Good. So which means Garrett Wilson is a full go.
Yep, automatic. And then if Mike White is in, do you have any interest in Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Denzel Mims?
Not yet.
I agree.
Not yet. And for the running backs, it sounds like Zonovan Knight is going to be the guy. I don't know if I'd trust it right away. I could be a committee.
If I'm desperate, maybe a flex.
Maybe, yeah.
Mike White, is he a super flex spot in 2 QB leads?
The only thing that scares me about Mike White is he did this, what was it, last year when he got a few starts, where he went out and had a great game, and then he went out and had a very bad game.
Yep. The one thing that looks good, and I mentioned it last week, and I keep talking about it because it was a good game for him, even though we lost. Minnesota did give up almost 400 yards to Matt Jones. So
yeah,
could be a strong game by Mike White. But like you said, you're playing with fire a little bit because you don't know when Mike White is going to come out and throw 4 interceptions.
It'll feel real good if you win your week because of Mike White, though.
Yes. I got Minnesota here.
I also took Minnesota. JJ took Minnesota, and Joe took the Jets.
Shocking.
All right. Next game on the docket is probably one of the worst games of the week. The Commanders at the Giants.
Yes. Saquon. Daniel Jones, QB2 potential or no?
I don't know. Commanders defense is real good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always a threat to get a bunch of rushing yards, but they don't make it a point to get him those rushing yards.
And he's don't know.
Right. He's not going out there and getting 5 or 6 designed runs a game.
And you just don't know when that 10-point game's coming.
Right. Yeah.
So very risky QB2.
Yeah. And then on the Commander side, like we said, if Antonio Gibson doesn't play, Brian Robinson is a great start. The Giants' run defense has not been good most of the year.
Yep.
We're still missing a bunch of pieces, I believe. I haven't seen anything about most of our people coming back.
Curtis Samuel, terrible game against Atlanta. You starting him at all?
That's my thing. If we get our corners back and our safety back, if they all come back, I don't think I would. Because the Giants defense actually looked really good when we had our players. But if they're not there, I mean, we looked not very good last week against the Cowboys.
So monitor the Giants injury report. If you see a lot of those starting cornerbacks and safeties out, then
Curtis Samuel should be a go if we're missing a lot of them. But Terry McLaurin's probably in your lineup.
Yep.
And I think that's about it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many players in this one.
Who are you picking?
I went Washington.
Yeah, JJ went Washington also. Joe picked the Giants and I picked the Giants, but I fully believe the Commanders are going to win.
I just think that the Giants offense right now is Saquon, and the Lions have that ridiculous defensive line, and your guys' O-line just hasn't been great lately.
And we're missing pieces there too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot of fantasy relevant in that game. So let's move on to one with more. Titans at Eagles.
So I don't know if I'm just drawing a blank here, but on the Titans side, I could just say Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry and a flyer on Treylon Burks. That's it.
Okay. You never know when Derrick Henry's going to fumble another 80-yard screen pass, and Treylon Burks can recover it for a touchdown. So that's true.
Right. Well, and he's been getting more integrated into this offense. And, it's second half of the year. This is when rookie wide receivers tend to come alive. Really.
I just love the Titans that they don't try to be fancy or they're like, we know that we're going to run, but try to stop us. and they just do it. On Philly's side, I have, Jalen Hurts,
AJ
AJ Brown, Miles Sanders, Devontae Smith. Anything?
Monitor the injury reports. He might not play.
Okay. And then that's about it, I think.
Yeah. Who you got winning?
Philly.
Joe and JJ also picked Philly, and I had a weird gut feeling, so I went with the Titans.
All right. Then you're a big Derrick Henry day, must be.
I mean, they're 5-2. They're I think they've only lost like 2 or 3 games.
Which they've just flown under the radar. Like they're not getting any like notoriety for it, but they're just sneaking.
But they went toe to toe with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And almost won that game. Like the defense can contain Jalen Hurts in this offense enough and keep him off the field. And we saw when the Commanders beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like they ran the ball on them and kept the offense off the field.
It's very true. Yeah. I mean, win that time of possession battle.
Just a weird gut feeling I had, I guess.
You might look like a genius.
I've done that a lot this year. My luck has got to be running out. Next game is Broncos at Ravens. Monitor, this is one we didn't say. Lamar Jackson popped up on the injury report with a new injury. So we got to monitor that. And that would probably, no, it wouldn't. Tyler Huntley, I think it'd still get the job done. But yeah, for the Broncos,
Latavius Murray, maybe.
And Cortland Sutton, just because without Jerry Jeudy there, he's been getting so many targets. I know they're shitty Russell Wilson targets, but I mean, he hasn't been tanking your fantasy football in PPR only, though.
Yeah, I would say Latavius Murray, Cortland Sutton as like low end options.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for that like wide receiver 3 flats ish.
Yeah.
On the Baltimore side, it looks like J.K. Dobbins will not be activated.
Right.
So it could be another good Gus Edwards week.
Mm-hmm.
If you just want to keep riding that gravy train until it runs out.
And
Mark
looks like Isaiah Likely should play.
Yep. And you got Mark Andrews. Are you starting Isaiah Likely?
I think I would, just because they don't have weapons.
That's the thing. I made a note here that like I don't want any part of the wide receiver room at all.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you see a thing they run 2 tight end sets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews a bunch. Other than that,
that's it for me.
Which is it for me.
When
also,
you think of Baltimore, you think of like this high-powered offense, but
yeah, they haven't been lately.
Fantasy-wise, it's just
They need the wide receiver. I mean, they traded away Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
And Rashad Bateman going out on the IR killed him.
Yep.
Who you got winning?
Baltimore.
Yeah, we all do.
Shocker.
All right, and one of the most talked about games of the week, Browns with $200 million man Deshaun Watson versus the Texans.
Like, I want to think so bad that Deshaun Watson's going to come out and suck because he hasn't played it so long, but like it's the Texans.
Yeah.
So
Nick Chubb could just win the game for him.
Yeah, it could be a huge Nick Chubb game, either due to game script where they get ahead really fast, or just because it's their quarterback's first game in 2 or 3 years. So with Watson in now, do we trust Peoples-Jones, Cooper, and Njoku at all?
I mean, I trust him, but like it's so hard. I know I talked about this with Joe on another pod earlier, a couple of weeks ago or something. Like we've seen this before where certain wide receivers have looked real well with one quarterback, and then another quarterback comes in that seemingly is a better quarterback, but doesn't target the same wide receivers the same.
I almost think with a higher end quarterback like that, you might see Amari Cooper get more work.
Well, not only that, their drives might end sooner, and not because of like punts or anything, but because they're moving the ball more efficiently. So instead of, that was a 10-play drive because we ran the ball 8 times, all of a sudden it's a 5-play drive because we ran the ball and then we're more efficient throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
So I'm hesitant on all Browns. I want to see this week. Some of them I did it if you have to start them. Peoples-Jones probably in the flats. Njoku, probably a streamable tight end.
I traded Jed Folsom Jr. and Isaiah Pacheco for Amari Cooper. I was never going to start Pacheco since I'm stacked at running back with this trade. I don't think we could say you won the trade yet.
I mean,
but
you didn't lose it. Like
you didn't lose it.
The RB,
right?
Then
I mean, it all depends on what Amari Cooper does rest of the year with Deshaun Watson. I mean, in theory, you should have crushed this trade because Amari Cooper with Deshaun Watson should go out and be, at least top 8 wide receiver.
Wait a couple weeks, but that might give you a heck of a playoff push.
Yeah, I think it was a very good trade. I think you did the right thing.
And the Chiefs just brought in, what's his name?
Yeah, what's his name exactly?
Yeah,
I can't remember the running back's
Melvin
name.
Gordon.
Melvin Gordon. That was it.
They just brought in Melvin Gordon, so you might see Pacheco's usage drop.
Thanks for your comment, Mark Yasko. Make sure you like and subscribe. I probably just butchered that last name. And of course, Joe tunes in, even though he can't be on the podcast. Enjoy the podcast tonight, boys. Hope this Pat's ass kicking continues. What a dinkus he is. That's right. I said dinkus.
We still beat the Jets twice.
Oh, shit.
Dameon Pierce, multiple busts from a fantasy.
Multiple bad weeks.
This is another game where you can see the Texans get out of it early. Do we still trust him? Or are you still starting him?
I don't trust him. Not even a bit. But
you're starting him, right? You almost have to.
Yeah. If he comes out and does nothing this week, then my tune might change. But I mean, Saquon Barkley's had 2 down weeks. Are you sitting Saquon Barkley? No, he's the bell cow of the offense and the whole offense. It's the same thing with Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce is not the athlete the Saquon Barkley is.
Barkley's volume has to be way higher too, though.
I mean, maybe, probably. But you just Dameon Pierce is just he's the only guy there really. And Rex Burkhead is hurt, I believe.
Yeah. You probably you got to start him. Keep the expectations a little low, but yeah, if he has another down week though, you might have to start considering alternate options.
Yes, I agree.
I took Cleveland on this one.
All right, you took who?
Cleveland.
Oh yeah, we all did because we're not done.
Sounds about right.
Moving on, Seahawks at Rams. Who would have thought if you looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year and saw Seahawks at Rams that it would be where it is right now? That doesn't make any sense. Nobody.
If someone is like, no, I predicted the Rams would suck this bad this year, I would call them a liar because it's out of nowhere.
There is literally no one I want to start on the Rams.
There's no one I want to. I think if it was an emergency, I would do Van Jefferson as a flat spot. They have to throw it to somebody.
Yeah, but who's throwing the ball?
I don't even know the guy's name. That's how bad it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And they don't have Aaron Donald. So I think Kenneth Walker is going to eat in this game.
Oh, yeah. I put Geno Smith, Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. All goes.
Yeah. All goes. And then literally, personally, no one on the Rams for me. Ryan says Van Jefferson. I see the reasoning, but I can't do it. I wouldn't. My stones wouldn't be big enough for that.
It doesn't feel good as you're putting it in, but
hit the button with your eyes closed.
Yeah, just pray for the best. And then obviously took Seattle on this one.
Yeah, we all did.
To a much more exciting matchup, though.
Yeah, Dolphins at 49ers.
These late games might be some more of the exciting games of the week.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
So Miami at 49ers. Miami Tua, Hill, Waddle. I'm out on their tight end position. Do you trust any of their running backs?
Timeout. Was this the week that one of these games was flexed into Sunday night?
Yes. What was
Was
it?
it the Dolphins and 49ers flexed into Sunday night?
I think so.
I don't know. Well, anyways, Dolphins 49ers. This is going to be a good one. 49ers defense is very good. Dolphins offense is very good. 49ers most likely, I feel, are going to be
They
without.
flexed week 14.
Oh, week 14.
Yeah, they flexed the Dolphins Chargers into Sunday night.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, but 49ers potentially without Debo.
Yeah, so monitor that. But
Yeah.
then you're probably starting CMC, Ayuk, Kittle.
Yeah, I would say so.
And
CMC,
I didn't
Ayuk, Kittle.
hear your answer. Did you have any Dolphins running backs that you trusted whatsoever?
Who they even? I think is Raheem Mostert even going to play?
I don't
I
think
know
he
he was
practiced.
injured.
I don't think he practiced Thursday.
If Raheem Mostert don't play, then you got to start Jeff Wilson Jr.
He was limited again today.
Raheem was.
Yep, he was limited.
If it's only one of them, I'm okay starting the one. I don't know how I'd feel starting the two. I mean, this defense is amazing. The offense for the 49ers is really good. So I think the Dolphins are going to have to throw the ball to stay in it. You're definitely starting Tyreek. You're definitely starting Waddle. Those guys are matchup proof. I think you have to start Tua too. Because of the weapons.
Yeah, you have to start Tua at this point, I think.
So I think for the Dolphins, my comfortability level would be Tua, Waddle, Hill, and my uncomfortable would be Jeff Wilson, and that's probably it.
Yeah, so you're saying you're either taking the sole running back for the Dolphins or none of them. If there's two guys out,
yeah, that's how I would rather play it. Yes,
that makes sense. Yeah, I'm the same, and I picked Miami. High-powered offense. They are going up against a good defense, but CMC's banged up. Debo's banged up.
I also picked Miami. I think Tua is still undefeated when he started and played a full game this year. So
interesting. There's
that. And I don't know. The 49ers have been playing well, but I don't think they're.
Who'd Joe pick? I'm curious because he's been picking against the East if they have to travel to the West.
He picked the 49ers.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. A lot of people, Joe, usually if a team has to fly all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast, usually doesn't go super well for the East Coast team, but I don't know. I still see Miami getting it done.
Yeah. JJ also picked the 49ers. So those two picked 49ers. We picked the Dolphins.
Okay.
All right. And another probably really good game. Chiefs at Bengals. Super Bowl rematch? No. AFC Championship rematch.
Yes.
They can't be in the Super Bowl together. Stop it.
So Cincinnati, Burrow and Higgins,
Everybody.
obviously. Chase and Mixon if they play. If Mixon doesn't play, Perrine's an automatic. P. Ryan, automatic plug-in.
Yep. For the Chiefs, Mahomes, obviously. Kelsey, obviously.
I think Pacheco's still a safe start right now.
Yeah, I don't even think Melvin Gordon's come off the practice squad yet, has he?
I don't think so. So I think he's still safe for at least another week.
Yep.
But I wouldn't bank on that lasting throughout the season.
Right.
And I picked Cincinnati here.
You and Joe both picked Cincinnati. Me and JJ picked the Chiefs. I love all this difference.
Yeah, and this is a game that can go either way, but it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it should be a really good one, which means it probably will be like a 7-3 game.
Yeah, right.
That's how it always works. All right, Chargers at Raiders.
Yeah, on the Chargers side, I said Herbert, Eckler, Allen, and then if you really feel like you need to, flip a coin for Palmer or Carter.
I think it's Palmer.
You think so?
I think Palmer's the main guy out of those two. Just Carter's going to have his weeks where he makes Palmer irrelevant. But I think Palmer is going to have more of the good weeks than Carter does.
I did see that. So I have Palmer and Carter, riskier options.
Yes.
But the three solids, I have Herbert, Eckler, and Allen.
Yep, I agree with both of those.
And
then for the Raiders, it's Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs.
Yep, and maybe Foster Moreau if you need a streaming tight end.
If you need 40 yards, yes.
Yep. if you just need like 5 points in your tight end spot, like if you just want a floor and a ceiling of 5 points,
Foster Moreau's your guy.
Yes. And I went Chargers.
We all went Chargers on that one.
Wow, that's not a game I would expect to sweep. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I looked at the Raiders for a second, but then I'm like, no, with Keenan Allen back, I think the Chargers offense is just too good.
Yeah, and even look at the game the Raiders had this past week. Josh Jacobs had a huge game, and they still had to play him in overtime.
Right. Yeah.
So.
All right, Colts at Cowboys, the Sunday night game.
Yeah. So on the Colts side, I have basically Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh, back to the previous game, really quick. Carr, would you play him in Superflex leagues?
Superflex, maybe. Yeah, but I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't go anywhere near him in single.
Great. On the Dallas side, I have Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and then I think Pollard and Zeke right now are both viable RB2, RB3 options.
I think they are too. I think you've seen last week that Zeke's fully healthy now, and the splits have been more even.
Mm-hmm.
But they are definitely giving Zeke more chances on the goal line.
Yep.
So he's got a higher touchdown upside than Tony Pollard does.
Yes. Tony Pollard, probably more attractiveness in PPR leads.
Yeah, but he's a must start in every format.
Yep.
Just because he's getting the same volume pretty much that Zeke is getting. So
I agree. So they're both viable. So if you have either one of those guys, that's solid. I picked Dallas to win this one.
And we all did.
I mean, and really, we haven't talked about defense as much, but the Dallas defense against Matt Ryan, I like it.
Yeah, that could be a good matchup. Last game on the docket, Monday night game, Saints at Buccaneers.
Yep. One other injury we didn't talk about. It's not super relevant because a lot of people probably aren't starting him. But Juwan Johnson, he was on the waiver show a couple times. He did sit out today. So if you were planning on emergency plugging him in, definitely watch that status.
Yeah, definitely.
For New Orleans, I have Kamara and Olave.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's sad. There's more talent on that team that you could start, but
yeah,
they got a quarterback problem.
Yep. On the Buccaneers side,
hey, who should I take at my flex for the rest of the season? James Conner or Tony Pollard? The rest of the season is hard. I mean, do you have to drop someone?
Yeah, but I don't.
I mean, if you have to choose one for the rest of the year, I think James Conner is getting all the work for Arizona.
You would have to, yeah. Like I feel like you would have to go James Conner.
Yeah. I hope you don't have to drop one of these guys because I would say play matchups with the two of them. But James Conner is getting all the work in Arizona, so better.
I don't know how big your bench is, but there is a lot of guys I would drop before either of those two.
Yeah, me too.
If you had to, you're doing someone else in your league a huge favor.
Yeah. You don't want to give either one of those guys to anybody.
Yeah. So try keeping both if you can. On the Buccaneers side, I have Brady, strong QB2, fringe QB1.
Yep.
Rashad White, Leonard Fournette. I think they're both fantasy valuable. I know in the last episode, Joe has very low expectations of Fournette, but he's still going to get the work, and I think it's still going to make him fantasy viable. Rashad White has more upside in PPR leagues.
Yes.
But he's still going to get the work. Godwin, obviously.
And if Leonard Fournette re-aggravates his injury and has to go back out.
It's true.
I mean, you don't want Rachaad White on your bench.
No. Godwin, obviously, and then Mike Evans, you probably still have to start him.
Yeah. It just sucks that they've been missing on the deep balls.
Yes. Yeah.
I keep changing this to mess with Joe because he said something.
I love it.
He's like, it's covering Ryan's screen. I'm like, it's not, though. It's
What?
barely on your screen.
Is he commenting still? It's on my shirt, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even near your face. Like I didn't take it off because I literally didn't even remember it being there.
Well, maybe if someone did a better job of placing the little icon,
Yeah.
wouldn't be an issue.
I guess it's maybe whoever made it should learn how to make things.
They should probably be apologizing.
I
did Buccaneers.
We all did the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on bye week is Cardinals and Panthers. So don't play any of those players.
No, which speaking of James Conner, it really sucks. Just had a huge game. So like
Yeah, that's how we should answer that guy's rest of the season. Well, Tony Pollard, because James Conner doesn't play this week.
like just had a huge game and then goes on bye week. But James Conner has some tough matchups coming up, doesn't he?
I don't remember what their matchups were.
New England, Denver,
Yep.
Tampa Bay.
Jeez, yeah. Holy
Then
crap.
has a nice one with Atlanta, but then week 18 plays San Fran.
Well, week 18 doesn't matter for fantasy. And if it does, then they shouldn't be playing in that league.
So after this week, 3 out of the next 4 weeks are pretty tough fantasy matchups.
That's crazy. And maybe you play Tony Pollard for the next couple of weeks over James Conner.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, though, he also is the guy.
Yeah.
So
And this offense might start looking better. Who knows? Probably not.
I know you're hoping so. You're a big Kyler Murray guy. I mean, how much exposure do you have him across all your leagues?
I think I have him in 2 leagues, but I'm in like 8 leagues. So
Okay, so it's not as bad as I thought. I thought you were
No.
going to say like 5.
no, I've got him in my dynasty, obviously, and then 1 redraft. So I mean,
Oh, okay, so it's not. What
that's
about
more
Lamar?
than I even have of Lamar Jackson.
Is it?
Yeah, I've only got Lamar in the dynasty. I got Patrick Mahomes in 1. I tried a new thing. Okay, we're done with things. We're just gonna riff here for a minute.
Yeah.
I went into this draft season with a very specific thing in mind in most of my drafts.
Not to have the
There's
same.
there's only one I didn't do this with, and that was I'm getting one of the top quarterbacks. The only time I've ever won a fantasy championship, I had a top QB. I got lucky, and it was Lamar Jackson in his MVP year.
Oh,
So it wasn't just a top QB, it was a
the QB.
hugely awesome QB. But in the leagues where I have some of the top, I have a league with Josh Allen. I have a league with Patrick Mahomes. And in those 2 leagues, I'm doing very well.
I think there's some credit to that because maybe I'm wrong. I almost think usually, not always, like the top QBs might stay a little bit more consistent than your top other positions. I mean, we've seen how shaking up the top 5 running backs gets from year to year.
Right.
Or, even some of the wide receivers, I feel like QBs do stay a bit more consistent, so it might be less of a risky pick early. I sleep on QBs all the time. I'm usually not taking one till way later. But it's definitely burned me. So I did trade Tua, I did trade for Tua for what was that? A second round in Dynasty?
Yeah, before he really took
that
off.
was solid.
Yeah.
Well, what did I do? I traded Cordell Patterson for a second and then the second for Tua.
Yeah. You traded Cordell Patterson to me for a second. And then took my second and traded it for Tua.
So I got Tua for Cordell Patterson. Might not be
pretty
Tua.
much. It's way better than Joe's trade.
The Keenan Allen for Margin. Now that trade's going to be looking worse and worse now that Keenan Allen's back.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today for the preview of week 13. we are going to get out of here. Let Ryan finish watching his team lose. Remember to go over to Apple Podcast and leave us a 5-star review, and like and subscribe to our YouTube, and leave a comment saying you're part of the Heckling Fandom to win this Miles Sanders signed card. You want to be in on that end of the year. That is when we are going to put the names into my dirty hat and pull one out.
Can't wait.
We are also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere that podcasts are available. We are on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We go live almost every time we do a show. Every once in a while, we have to pre-record some to make sure we get content out, but we do that for you. But we like to do them live so that we can have people comment and we can answer them right on the air for you. Anything else, Ryan?
No, that covers it.
Well, I think we did an amazing job. Way better than Joe's ever done.
Significantly.
All right, everyone, make sure you like and subscribe, and have a great night.